because they can't take it.
Because we're wrong on this foreign policy. We have to change course. And unfortunately, it's not happening, I would say, at all. Some would say anywhere near fast enough. Some would say that it's going through the process as it needs to. But that doesn't even count like the other contractors we have over there or the drones that are going on. This is going on in 7 countries.
Yeah, but this is money. Angel, when you're a grunt and you make $500 a month plus whatever the Army promised you, and then you do your 4 years, and then some guy walks up to you and goes, well, we used to be called Blackwater, but now we're called this or now we're called that, and we'll pay you $150,000 to stay right where you're at, and we'll treat you like a king. Then we can piss money away because we're private contractors and we don't have to answer to a government. We don't have to deal with anything. And if you didn't have any problems being in that war as a grunt, what makes you think you're going to pack up and move now that you're making 5 or 6 times more as a private contractor? It seems like, and that's another thing I want to talk about, Angel, is more and more of the warring that is happening on our planet is not done by nations. It is done by private contractors hired by those nations.
But before we get into that, I want to take a moment to talk about the mentality that is given to our troops, and this is something that it constantly affects me, and I constantly dwell on it. I have a group of 15 friends that I grew up with, and most of them are men, and like 11 of them have gone into the military at this point, and it's because they believe that they're doing it for, God and country, right? They believe that they're doing it to save the country, to save the world, to protect their loved ones. And I don't think that's really the case, but it gets drilled into people's heads. And, there's something I saw floating around on the internet. If you really supported the troops, you wouldn't send them to fight in so many meaningless wars. And so many people don't seem to grasp that. They seem to think that, you have to have this unwavering commitment to war and violence to be supporting the troops. And in actuality, that's not the case. If you want to support, your children who are going to war, then try and stop the government from sending them there.
We talk a lot about this on the show as well as, the 18-year-old who makes that decision and suddenly he's got $20,000 for college and maybe can help with some child support payments. Is he truly going in to be that gallant warrior to fight for truth, justice, liberty, and the Declaration of Independence and by the way, the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, the way they swear you in? Or are you just a young kid who's not sure where you want to go in your life, and everybody goes, yeah, the military will be good for you. It helps straighten me out. Your uncle's talking to you about when he was in Korea, and suddenly you choose this because it's a job choice. But this is not a job. It's a job, don't get me wrong, but the job is killing people. And it's a fork in the road. It's not a fork in the road. Once you choose that path, you can never, ever go back, Danielle. And I think when you're 19, 20, 21 years old, this is why recruiters don't go after 30-year-old men. This is why they don't. This is why they go after younger guys.
Well, you're 18, and we've all been there. We've all been 18, and you don't have a good sense of the world, and you still have that I'm invincible and things like that. And do I think they go? I think when you see the older, I think when people enlist as older, when they're older, they actually are going for those reasons. I'm going to fight for my country. I think when you're getting them right out of high school, they just don't know any. And not all of them. I mean, and I know you're shaking your head at me, but not all of them do that. I mean, some of them do have, I'm going to be protecting my country.
Hey, a lot of people have wonderful careers in the military. And a lot of families have lots of military history, and none of those people have any regret whatsoever.
No, but I know that, from the people that I knew that left right out of high school, they didn't feel like they had any other choice. And I don't have any of them that have come home alive either. So when you look at my generation, we look at, it is hard. I support our troops because I want them home alive, because I've seen too many of them come home in a coffin.
Alex, the other side of this argument is if this were a draft, this conversation would be happening at every street corner, everywhere. We would be questioning why these kids would be dying, but this is a volunteer army, and people are choosing on their own to go and do whatever, and a lot of people will say to me, I'm not crazy about Warledge, but these guys signed, they know what they're doing. They're over there doing what they've been told to do, and no one held a gun to their head for them to do it. What do you say to that?
No, they're right. No, I view the second part of the argument, or the second part of the conversation here about military service and going in there, I view that as a separate issue right now than I view the other one. Even though they're very much linked, I understand that.
Policy versus individual choices.
Well, here's the thing.
Two different things.
Look, I'm a libertarian, but I do believe in a standing military. I do think that we should have a standing military. But I also believe
to defend us against what, China?
What does it mean? To defend us against? It could be anybody.
Well, I'm just saying, at 2013, maybe we could scale it down a bit.
Oh, I think we should scale it down a ton.
Yeah. Well,
no. I think you scale it down. Look, you got to close all the bases everywhere else. You keep them. You keep the armies here, but you do have that. I'd say probably 200,000 in the army, maybe the rest of them another 100,000, and everybody else reserve for the numbers, and then you could gradually drop them down over the course of 20 years to get to that number.
Well, the idea of defending the United States of America from attack probably, and I'm not going to predict the future, but let's say maybe China and Russia don't want to bomb us because, I don't know, we buy their shit and they buy our shit, Angel. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that we're not worried about any more world wars. We should have at least somebody defending our borders. But right now, if you look at everything that's being spent and everything that's going on, it's empire building. This is
cut it by 60%.
This is empire building. This has nothing to do with defending anything. This is about using our resources, our tax dollars, our blood, our flesh and blood to build an empire for some conglomerate or corporatocracy.
It absolutely is empire building, and the problem is that the average person doesn't grasp that. They make this statement there. There is no American empire. Are you actually believe that? What I actually have issues with is getting that through to people who don't see it now. I have a hard time making them understand that, because they legitimately believe that we are defending ourselves in the 180 different bases that we have.
Yeah, well, like we still need to be in Okinawa, from like Japan, from World War II. Like we need
home.
Well, you know why? Because that part, when you go south of Japan, that southwestern part of the Pacific, there's lots of shipping. There's lots of commerce that goes through that area.
Yeah.
So if you want to,
the treaty too. There was a treaty that was signed that required that we had to keep defending Japan.
Yeah, it's because
so we
Japan
had to
take
there.
every condition we gave to them because we had blown them the fuck off the planet, basically.
Yeah.
And they said, yes, yes, yes. Well, it's 2013. Maybe give them back some of their land.
Oh, I think you should give back all of it.
Oh, the people in Okinawa hate the military base there. There's all kinds of, there's sexual rape issues on a semi-regular basis there. There's all kinds, again, defend us? Absolutely. Check our borders, make sure we're safe? Absolutely. Excuse me. But the idea that $1 trillion has been spent in the last decade to go to two places to make sure the poppies are growing great in Afghanistan and to make sure that the Caspian oil basin, the pipelines that went through Turkestan and Afghanistan, the project for the new American century wanted to happen.
Yeah.
That's all your tax dollars. That's my tax dollars. That's all our children, our sons, our daughters that are going over there. You know what, Mr. Billionaire, you want it so bad, go do it yourself.
Well, not just that, though. If you look at the numbers of people that are injured, vice casualties during the Vietnam War and during this war, is that the numbers are definitely about the same. The only difference is that advanced technology means that instead of dying, you lost arms or legs or something like that.
Yeah.
But you're still scarred for life, and that's money that we're going to have to spend that's money that the government is going to have to spend for a long time. Those numbers aren't even taken into a calculation yet.
Oh, think
on how
about
much that's going to be.
Think about the
a generation.
Not
of
that there
people.
should be a dollar figure in caring for someone, but you're right, Angel. Think, and I always thought this would be a huge political base, especially powerful speakers and people that could get involved in their government. Are the people that lost an arm, a leg, maybe both, and came back and realized that they'd been lied to about wars and had sacrificed. Almost the ultimate sacrifice, not quite being dead, but being physically stripped of their own limbs. And more of those people but think about their own personal nightmare they got to go through. They got their own struggle to go through before they worry about getting political about everything, And
you got to remember, they're on for the rest of their lives. They're actually on the dole for the. I mean, again, I'm not saying in a bad way.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the money. I know
about their mindset, though.
No, I understand. You're talking about the total cost of war.
They don't want to get cut off. No, they don't want to get cut. That guy doesn't want to get cut off.
He doesn't want to be a target.
Because think about it like this. It's harder for him to be more self-sufficient if you're missing an arm or you're missing a leg or something. You're depending on that check from the government every month. You better keep your mouth shut or you're going to lose it. You've seen other people lose it.
RadioFreedom.us is where you can find Angel Clark's show. It's kind of funny, Angel. I was listening to your Friday show, and we have fun here. We're very uncensored, and I make no doubts, and I certainly bring it to the forefront that I'm a big